But I saw some old friends and some parents of old friends, and it's just depressing. We're all getting older. Everybody's getting older. I mean, that's the only way to say it. The good times are over. And I don't mean forever, and I don't even mean for the country, even though I've made that case ad nauseum. I mean, for the friendships that you had, the golden age is over. Now there is not much left. There's not much left, and that's sad, but there's something nice about, there's something that, definitive about that, where you can look at people and go, wow, because, that's where you really appreciate time. When you look at people that you used to be really close with, and then you pull back and you see them later on, and you're in a different place and they're in a different place, and you barely know each other, that's when you start appreciating time. You go, wow. That's a mind fuck when you kind of pull back and you go, oh, I was so tight with that person. I was so close with that person. And now I'm struggling for things to say. Within a few minutes, I'm struggling for things to say. We're making inane, meaningless small talk. And these are people that I used to, conversations were effortless. There was always something to talk about. Now they're feeling me out, and I got to feel them out about how political can it get. And everybody knows where I stand on everything. I'm not like a private person, but like, it's still weird when you're in a room with people. They're like, well, are you really that guy? Are you that guy? Are you this guy? Who are you? And they don't know what they can say. And it's odd because these are the people that you really, spent a lot of time with. And you had a very organic and natural relationship with these people. And then you just you look at it and go, well, that's over. Especially when you sober up. Everybody on Long Island still boozing it up. And they don't care. I mean, they don't care. And God love them. God bless them. And I mean, people in Long Island, they'll tell you they survived a brain aneurysm without blinking. I mean, they'll light up a cigarette and go, yeah, they found me on the floor. I was bleeding out. They said it was an aneurysm. I don't know, pulmonary embolism. Maybe it was I think I had a few pulmonary embolisms in my left lung. I coughed one up over breakfast, and they'll be just sitting there drinking a vodka and telling you. They'll tell you right to your face, and you're like, oh my God, are you okay? Is this okay? Yeah, I'm fine. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Just lighten the butt, drink. Yeah. I had a coronary, I had a bypass. It was all of my heart valves were clogged at maximum. And I just woke up, and they say it so nonchalantly, and it's everything every decision they've ever made in their life is led up to that. So I get why they say, and I'll probably say it one day without being shocked. I'll be like, right, I just woke up and I took a breath and I couldn't breathe and I fell down on my face. And you'll be telling someone who's not at that point in their life. And there's something so crazy about the nonchalant way they just kind of go over all their health problems and then just put the butt right back in their mouth and light it up and then just start drinking again like nothing ever happened. They'll just tell you, they go, yeah, I was clinically dead for 8 minutes. Yeah, clinically dead for 8 minutes. And then they brought me back, and I remember the paddles. I remember the cold paddles on my chest. And I remember there was a dark tunnel. I was in a dark tunnel, and I felt like there were these beings grabbing me and pulling me into hell. Yeah. And then they'll just light up a cigarette and fall back in their chair. And they're like, but, things are good. All the tests are good now. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, good to see ya. Glad I came by. Hope everyone's well. Give my best to everybody. I mean, people that stay in the Northeast just get hit with a shovel. There is no way out. A lot of people that leave the Northeast end up, for whatever reason, extending their life by a few years. Not that that's always preferable, but, I was in the fat store, DXL, in Palm Desert before I flew to New York. And the worst employees at the fat store are ones that try to make it like a nice experience, because it, by its very nature, is a disgraceful experience. You have to try on clothing and see what makes you look less fat. I mean, that's the whole point of the fat store. How do you look less fat? By the clothing that you put on. It's never what makes you look good. It's never that. It's a lesser of two evils situation. It's voting in America. There's no real, like, there's no JFK moment in the fat store where you grab a shirt and you're like, this is it. There's none of that. There's no hope and change. There is none of that. There is just the harsh, cynical realism of what is available, what will look okay on you, what will look decent, what will not cause people to vomit when you walk in a room, and what can survive the rinse cycle. And that you won't spend $90 on a shirt and then pull it out, and then after the rinse cycle, it's now over. And I've had those experiences where you pull the shirt out of the rinse cycle and you go, this is done. I can admit it to myself, or I can deny it. I can lay on my bed and then pull the shirt, and I can tuck my knees under it and try to stretch it back out. Okay? And I've done that many times. But we're also going to have to be honest. Sometimes it goes through the washer and dryer, and then that's it. It's a one and done. That's a one and done sometimes. And I'm in the fat store, and I try not to speak to any of the people that work there. I'm always polite. I'm always, hey, how are you? Do you have this and this? Or do you have, but I'm never like, how's your day? And so this guy starts talking to me, and he goes, well, what part of New York are you from? And I'm like, Long Island, And he goes, oh, that's great. He goes, you live here now? I said, yeah, I live here. He goes, don't you notice that when you go on Facebook, like, he goes right into it, and I'm like automatically, already feeling nauseous. I'm like, oh, boy. He goes, don't you notice when you go on Facebook, everybody from the Northeast, they look shot, and everybody that got out of there, they seem a little happier. And I'm like, yeah, I got to be honest. You're right about that. Then he goes like this to me. He looks at me, he goes, did you hear about that actress who got murdered the other day? And I said, what? He goes, that actress who got murdered, she's famous. Reese. He goes, she was like stabbed with a knife. He goes, her name's like Reese? I'm like, Reese? I'm like, Reese Witherspoon? And he goes, no, with a knife. And I'm like, what a life this guy has. Just trying to slip that joke into every conversation with a fat person in the Palm Desert Mall. Like every fucking guy in there, some guys are much fatter than me, like buying like 5Xs and shit. This guy is just looking for an opportunity to slip the Reese Witherspoon with a knife joke in there. But he was right about the East Coast. He was certainly right about that. And I don't know. I mean, it's one of those situations where you love the idea that at some point you can get, you can find some value in the people that you spent all those years with. And not that they aren't tremendously valuable, but I mean, like, you want to be able to talk to them the way you used to talk to them. It's just impossible. It's impossible. I don't know that it has anything to do with my career or anything like that. Maybe some of it does. I don't think so. I think it's just because I made it out. I got out. I think I got out and I'm doing okay. And there's the people that get out and then the people that don't get out. And then the people that get out are, just they're out. They're on a journey. And then the people that didn't get out, kind of look at those people and they're like, yeah, okay, sure, Like, I said to somebody, my friend's mother, I said, hey, I got a house in Palm Springs. I rented it for a few months. If you ever want to get out of New York, you come over there and you can stay with me if you want. She's like, how do you have that? It's like her first, I don't know, I'm selling drug. Like, what's the answer, I'm like, oh, the podcast has done well and everything. And, again, it's just a house with a few bedrooms. It's not, it's in the Hamptons estate, just a home. How do you have that? And it's like, well, there's the warm Long Island, reception I've been waiting for. She looks at me. She goes, "You guys were the needy generation. You always wanted things. You needed things." And I'm like, well, also, but your generation of parents was also like, you guys were like the boomer generation of like, hey, you were really, and it's so funny. I love this woman. She's a great lady, but she always wanted to leave New York. Like she was always talking about buying a condo and getting out of New York. And then I asked her, I'm like, you ever think about getting out of here? I know you talked about Florida for many years. I mean, and when I say she talked about it, I mean every conversation that she had when we were young, she found a way to inject it into the conversation that she wanted to move to Florida, or the Carolinas or somewhere. And I'm like, you ever think about leaving? Now you have COVID and the city. She goes, where am I gonna go? My friends are here. I'm like, okay, yeah. She goes, I'm alone. I don't want to go somewhere now and be alone. And I'm like, I understand. Those are all good reasons. So that's it, man. That's the thing with Long Island is, no matter how strong the bluff is, nobody's leaving. They're just not going. They're not leaving. I was for sure certain that this lady would have a place and do like 6 months, but you get to a certain age where you're like, why am I going to leave everything that I know? Because at a certain age, that is all you have. Familiarity is all you have at a certain age because you're tired. But knowing that you know the people in the neighborhood, you know the stores, you know the restaurants, you know the street signs, you know the stoplights, you probably even know a few of the cops, you know the way things work, you are, comfortable, and that is what you have. That is the only thing left. And there's a sadness to that in a way because we tend to think of life being an adventure and it's about new things and it's about, challenging yourself or whatever. And, I think at a certain age, all of those things no longer present themselves as exciting. They present themselves as terrifying. And most people, and sometimes that age is 23, sometimes people just settle in and they just dig in and they stay where they are. And there's no better example of that I know about than, Long Island, because a lot of people, and then some people, of course, leave Long Island and they go be, racist in North Carolina or something. They, it's not really the physical space. Some of them just get out and, take their values with them, It's not, it's not exactly necessarily confined to a geographic location. But it's just funny, and then you want to, and you don't know what you're expecting. That's the other thing. When you go back and see people, you kind of don't know what to expect. You don't know if they're going to be like, oh, my God, it's so great to see you, and give you a hug, and, and now with this COVID thing, it's fucking weird. You walk in, you don't know, hey, do I elbow bump you? I'd rather do nothing. Like, if I'm not going to give you a hug, can I just, not do anything? Do we elbow bump? Do we fist bump? Do I do a black power bump to you? I don't know. How do we navigate this insanely awkward moment right now that we're having? Like walking in, having not seen, people for years, and then, basically not being able to go up to them and hug them. It's fucking weird. Every interaction feels like a weird interview where you feel like you're interviewing for a job and it's a job you don't want. And that's every interaction. The majority of them that I've had this week, not all of them. We had a cool lunch with a very smart person, but the majority of these interactions that we've had have been, kind of awkward, stilted, uncomfortable interviews where it's like, so how have you been faring? So how have you been? Have you known anyone who has died? Because you're across a room, by the way. So you're not near anyone. So you got to be across the room and go, do you know anyone who has died from this or not? Remember your cousin Jenna? Yes, she's dead now. Jenna died. You know Jenna, she had lupus. Jenna had lupus. She was overweight. She was Joe's daughter. I don't know. Remember she sang at Mary's wedding? Did she die of COVID? They think so. You know, oh, it's good to see you. California, it's whatever. I mean, what are you going to fucking do? You got to do these things, right? You got to see these people.